And now the long game. We've travelled to the year 500,000 and landed on Satellite 5, where the Doctor, Rose, and Adam are greeted to what is a news station broadcasting the news all over the world. And the Doctor notices that this technology is wrong. With the news broadcast being sent right into someone's head via a snap of the fingers and their brain opening up, broadcasting across the world, the Doctor knows something is wrong. In which chaos shortly follows, with the cost of some lives, but ultimately a learning experience for all, that the time travelling is not for everyone. So, as a story review, this episode is not as good as the previous one, but is solid for what it's trying to do. I would say the whole A-plot of showing the news being broadcasted the way it is being wrong is actually a bit underwhelming and a bit boring in my opinion. If anything, it just shows that the human race has just devolved and nothing's happening. To me, I just find it boring and not very entertaining. The B plot, though, with showing that time traveling is not for everyone, and Adam making stupid moves after stupid moves, just shows that Rose is actually a good companion. Meanwhile, Adam is not. Which does end in a rather comedic climax at the very end of the episode. As for the characters, the Doctor kind of takes a back seat because this episode isn't about him. He's just there to fix the A point and let the B point run its course. Rose is simply there just to show that she is a good companion, because at that point in time there were people saying that Rose... At that point in time, there were people which were saying that Rose does not have what it takes to be the companion for the Doctor, in which this episode was made to show that she is. And to me, it worked. Rose is a great companion in general, but in this episode, it shows that, yeah, she is not stupid. As for Adam, I need to say this is what made me really dislike him. He made dumb choice after dumb choice, and his fate at the end is deserved in my opinion, and quite frankly, comedic in a way. Other characters include Suki and Kafka, which are, one-time characters with barely any development whatsoever, and nothing really much else to say, very underdeveloped. And then you have the editor, played very well by Simon Pegg. Probably the best side character in this episode was Simon Pegg, or the editor rather. With him just seeing his job as important as it is, but then having his own comedic flair to it is, something which I think this episode needed. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to save it, but, the editor did a good job. But then we go to his boss, which is the mighty Jagrafess of the Holy mighty Jagrafess. The editor, can you say it for me, please?
The mighty Jagrafess of the Holy Hadrajassacans. I call him Max.
Thank you. So that monster, let's call him Max. Thank you, the editor. I do need to say is horribly CGI'd, and the actual monster is so underwhelming, so underutilized, to the point where if he's not called Max, he is a thing. He is simply a thing stuck to the roof rather. And that's all I can really say about him. Nothing is important about this monster whatsoever. If anything, the main villain of this episode is the editor, because he does the talking for him. Anyway, that's all I can really say about the characters. Overall, this episode is this was the first downhill episode, in my opinion, when it comes to Doctor Who, because every episode has had its good points here and there, which made it at least watchable. To me, this episode does not have its watchable points being good enough. And the only important part about this episode is ultimately it introduces Satellite 5, and that's the only good point, in my opinion. Other than that, nothing is worth mentioning, and for that, I need to give this ranking for this episode, let's say a 4.5, and I'm being generous there, because the B point is ultimately what saves it, as well as Simon Pegg being Simon Pegg. Other than that, nothing is worth mentioning in this episode, and this is probably my most negative opinion when it comes to an episode in Series 1. Till then, until then, let's go to the next stop on our journey, where we go to a relatively recent time in the past, and we see Rose's father in Father's Day.